reduced pressure. What is the concept here? That alone first I will explain, then I will give the notes. Okay. Suppose water is present. What is the boiling point of water? Boiling point of water is 100 degree Celsius. Okay. 100 degree Celsius. Water will start boiling and it will change into vapors at 100 degree Celsius at normal pressure, normal room pressure. At normal pressure, it will boil at 100 degrees Celsius. Suppose if we reduce the pressure, the water will boil before 100 degrees Celsius itself. Okay, the water will boil before 100 degrees Celsius itself. So, by reducing the pressure, what we can do? We can make the liquids to boil before the boiling point itself. That concept only we are going to do here. We are going to reduce the pressure, we are going to make the liquid boil, we are going to change them into vapors, and then we are going to do distillation. Okay, so copy down the notes. I'll dictate, you write first point. It is used for the liquids. Which decompose at a temperature below the boiling point when the pressure is reduced. When the pressure is reduced. When the pressure is reduced. For example, there is a liquid called glycerol. Okay, so this glycerol, it will boil at 563 Kelvin at normal pressure. Okay, but if you reduce the pressure, what will happen? If the pressure is reduced, it will boil at 453 Kelvin itself. It will boil at 453 Kelvin itself. So by adjusting the pressure, this liquid will boil soon. It will change into vapors. Then it will pass through the water condenser. What will happen? It will condense into liquid again, and we will get the pure liquid. Okay, so this method is used for purification. The diagram for this method is in page number 351. Okay, figure 12.8. Yesterday I told to draw one diagram. I will check today. Okay, so the next one is steam distillation. Steam distillation. How will you reduce the pressure here? How will you adjust the pressure? The whole distillation apparatus will be connected to a vacuum pump. Okay, so the vacuum pump will adjust the pressure. Okay, it will create vacuum inside. So in the presence of vacuum, the boiling point will reduce. Okay, so the next one is steam distillation. So for what this steam distillation is used? It is used for the liquids which are immiscible with water. So what will happen? The liquid will not mix with water. So we will not be able to boil that liquid. So in that case, instead of using water, what we will be using? We will be using steam. So by using steam, the liquid is changed into vapor. The liquid is changed into vapors. As you can see the diagram in the book, the same page, the second diagram. Okay, so here you have one beaker. Yes or no? In this beaker, you will be having water. You will heat the water will change into steam. This steam will go to the liquid which has to be purified. So this steam will go and heat this liquid. Okay, again this liquid, because of the heat of the steam, this liquid will change into vapor, and that vapor will pass through the condenser and then it will get purified. Okay, instead of directly heating, we are going to use steam for heating the liquid. Okay, because the liquid will not mix with water, but it will get heated by using steam. Okay, so this is called as steam distillation. Distillation process is same. The vapor will change into liquid on passing through the water condenser. Then it will get collected as a pure liquid. Understood? So we have completed sublimation, crystallization, distillation. In distillation we studied simple distillation, fractional distillation, distillation under reduced pressure, and then steam distillation. Now the fourth method is differential extraction. Differential extraction. This method also you have studied in your 9th standard, but here they have given a different name. Okay, have you heard of this separating funnel? In your 9th standard, second lesson is matter around us pure. In that lesson, separating funnel, have you studied? It will be like this. So the funnel will be like this. Here you will have one nozzle with one stopper, and here you will have one opening. Here this will be closed. So this funnel is called as a separating funnel. Have you seen this in 9th standard? So first you write the notes, then I will explain. Write down. When an organic compound is present in aqueous medium, it is separated. When an organic compound is present in aqueous medium, it is separated by shaking it with suitable organic solvent. When an organic compound is present in aqueous medium, it is separated by shaking it with suitable organic solvent. This is a very easy method only. I will explain. Suppose there is one organic compound A. Okay. This organic compound only you have to purify. Okay. What they have given the first line? The organic compound is present in aqueous medium. Aqueous medium means what? this organic compound is mixed with water. If any substance is mixed with water, we will tell it as aqueous medium, AQ. In some equations also you would have seen this. Okay. So, if the organic compound is mixed with water, and if you want to purify this organic compound, what you should do is, you should use another organic solvent. Here water is the solvent, this is the solute. You should use another organic solvent B. Okay, and you have to mix this solution with B. When you mix it with B, what will happen? The A will come out of water and it will mix with B. But you should take care that the water and B should not mix with each other. Suppose if you take alcohol, will alcohol and water mix? Alcohol and water will mix. So you should not take alcohol. Okay. So you should take another solvent which will not mix with water, but it will mix with A. Okay. So this A which you are going to purify, it will be present along with water. Okay, you are going to pour it in another solvent B. Okay, now what will happen? This A will move out of water and it will mix with the solvent B. So now A will be present with the solvent B and the water will be formed as a separate layer. Okay, so first you will be taking the separating funnel. In the separating funnel, you will be taking this A with water. Okay, and then you have to pour this solvent B. You have to pour this solvent B. This water and this B will not at all mix. Yes or no? So it will be seen as two separate layers. Now to mix them, what you should do? You have to shake the flask. Okay, you should hold it like a baby like this and you have to shake the flask. Okay, when you shake the flask, what will happen? This A will move out of water and it will mix with B. So what you will get now in the flask? What you will be having in the flask now? Water alone will be in the bottom. Okay, and this A would have combined with the solvent B. Now you have to open this nozzle slowly. Okay, when you open this nozzle, what will happen? This water layer alone, you have to collect it separately in the beaker. You have to drain it and collect it separately in the beaker, and this you will be collecting separately in the funnel. So water you will get separately and this mixture you will get separately. Later you can separate this A from B with the help of any one of the distillation process. Okay, you can separate it with the help of any one of the distillation process. So you will get the pure form of A. Understood what is differential extraction? Okay, you should use a suitable solvent to extract. Understood? So now what is the last method? Chromatography. Chromatography also you have already studied in your 9th standard. Chromatography, it is of two types. One is adsorption chromatography. The next one is partition chromatography. Okay, so in adsorption chromatography, we are going to study two types. One is column chromatography and then thin layer chromatography. And in partition chromatography, we are going to study about paper chromatography. So we are going to study about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of chromatographies here. Okay. So first let me tell what is chromatography. Chromatography you have already studied in your 9th standard. For what it is used? Chromatography, it is used to separate the different components which are present in a mixture. Suppose there is one mixture. The mixture is made up of a compound A. Mixture is made up of compound A, compound B, compound C, compound D. Everything mixed here. Okay. Suppose if you want to separate this A, B, C, D separately, you have to use this chromatography. This chromatography is used to separate the different components which are present in the mixture. Different components which are present in a mixture. Understood? So the first one is adsorption chromatography. Adsorption chromatography. In adsorption chromatography, the principle that is used is adsorption. It is not absorption, it is adsorption, AD. What is the difference between absorption and adsorption? What is the difference between adsorption and adsorption? Simple example I will say. Okay. Now I am going to take one trough of water. Suppose if I keep one sponge inside this water, what will happen? The water will be absorbed by the sponge. What does this mean? The water will go inside the sponge. Yes or no? If the substance goes inside another substance, then we will call it as absorption. If the substance goes inside another substance, we will call it as what? Absorption. Now I have this board, marker board. Okay, I am wiping it with duster. Okay, I am wiping the marker board with duster. What will happen to the ink? Is it going inside the duster? It will not go inside the duster. Where it will go? It will be attached on the surface of the duster. Okay. So if the substance, instead of going inside, if it gets attached on the surface, then it is called as adsorption. If the substance goes inside, it is called absorption. If it is attracted only on the surface, then it is called as adsorption. So the principle here is adsorption. Based on this adsorption, we are going to do chromatography. What does this mean? Based on the adsorption, we are going to separate the different components which are present in the mixture. Understood? So first adsorption which we are going to study in this is column chromatography. Column chromatography. Column chromatography. Column chromatography is a type of adsorption chromatography. Is a type of adsorption chromatography. So it is a type of adsorption chromatography means what is the principle used here? The principle is adsorption. What does this mean? Principle is adsorption means what is the meaning? One substance will be attracted. It will be attached to the top of another substance. How we will do this? I will explain with the help of example, then you can understand it. Okay. Now I am going to take one beaker. Okay. In this beaker I am going to mix 3 ink. I am going to mix blue ink, black ink, red ink. 3 inks I am going to mix, or any color sketch you take. Any 3 colors or 4 colors or 5 colors you mix and you take the mixture. Okay, so let us say the mixture will be in black color something. Okay, some color. Okay, I am mixing all many different colors. I am taking the mixture here. Okay, now what I am going to do is I am going to take a burette. What is the burette? Have you seen a burette? So burette will be like this. Okay, the burette will be having readings from 0 to 50, 0 centimeter to 50 centimeter. Okay, so the burette will be like this. Inside this burette, what I am going to do is I am going to take finely powdered chalk. Chalk piece is there, yes or no? So I am going to take chalk piece and I am going to powder it nicely. Okay, and I am going to take it in the burette. Okay, I should fill the burette fully with chalk piece powder. Okay, so the full burette will be in what color now? It will be in white color. So I am taking chalk piece powder and I am filling the burette fully with chalk piece powder. Okay, no gaps should be there in between. So add little amount, shake the burette well so that there is no gap left in between. Okay, you have to shake it nicely. Okay, and then what you have to do, you have the burette will be in what? White color. Okay, now you have to, this chalk piece powder will be very dry, yes or no? So you have to wet it. So for wetting it, you can use alcohol. You can use alcohol for wetting it. Okay, so I am pouring alcohol. Will the alcohol flow freely? It will not flow freely. So again, what you should do? You should keep on shaking. Okay, so add few amount of chalk powder, add alcohol, then add few more chalk powder, add alcohol. So you should keep on shake it and you should keep on be adding chalk piece powder and alcohol so that the full beaker is filled with chalk piece powder which is wet with alcohol with no gaps. Okay, now what I am going to do, I am going to take this mixture. Okay, some 5 ml. Okay, some 5 ml or some 3 ml or 2 ml also. Little amount of the liquid I am going to add here. So burette will be like this. So here I am going to add this mixture. Okay, then I have to keep this beaker as it is without disturbing it. Now what will happen? Without disturbing it, I am going to keep the beaker. Now what will happen? This liquid, it will slowly move down. Yes or no? Because we are not shaking and this burette is fully tightly packed. Yes or no? So the liquid will start moving slowly down. When it starts moving down, what will happen? The different colors will get separated. So here you can see blue color. Here you can see red color. Here you can see black color or whatever colors you take. So the different colors will be separated. So which the mixture is moving, yes or no? And the chalk piece is not at all moving, yes or no? So the solution which is moving, okay, that is called as mobile phase. What it is called as? Mobile phase. Mobile means moving. It is moving phase. The part of the chromatography which is not at all moving. The chalk piece powder is not moving. It is intact. So that is called as stationary phase. what it is called as stationary phase. So stationary phase and mobile phase. We have to pour the mobile phase in the stationary phase. When you pour, what will happen? Slowly the different components will get separated on the stationary phase. Okay, why they are getting separated? Because of adsorption. The different colors are getting adsorbed at different levels. Okay, suppose if I take here it is blue color, here it is red color, and here it is black color. Means the blue color is getting adsorbed. Adsorbed means what? It is getting attracted or attached first itself. And the red color, it is getting attached a little bit late. And the black color, it is getting adsorbed a little bit late. Okay, so each color is having different adsorption value or different adsorption levels. Okay, so because of the different adsorption levels, the different colors will be separated here. Okay, so in your book they have given the diagram clearly like this. Okay, so they have taken the mixture first. Okay, so when the mixture starts moving downwards, what is happening? It is separating into different colors. So in the white color beaker, you can see different colors like a rainbow which is getting separated. So this is called as what? Column chromatography. The burette here is referred as the column. Okay, so in the column, different row wise it is getting separated. So this is called as column chromatography. The principle is adsorption. So the phase which is not moving is the stationary phase. The phase which is moving down, it is the mobile phase. So mobile phase gets adsorbed on the stationary phase. Understood? Column chromatography, thin layer chromatography.